I gotta get me another cover or something. This is terrible. Uh, I don't know if it's a bad light or what that is. I think that's just it'll give me a new funding for a phone. What I need to do. It cost me a couple grand. This one still works, but shit. Can't make a phone call. What good is a phone? I don't know why. Do 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 do. Ba da 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 da. It's the sports bike. All right, good late morning. This is Coach Hall with Sports for Real. Doing another AM Sports Bike. A lot later than what I'm normally doing, but it's still 8 a.m., so I get a chance to rap a little bit. Been off for a couple of days. I had a little funeral business to take care of over the weekend, so it's been kind of hectic. It throws me off schedule, especially with these holidays. One of the reasons why I didn't come on this morning, but that's okay. I got two today for you. I'm going to start out with this quarterback stuff, and I got a heavier issue this afternoon when I have more time to talk. I don't have a whole lot of time to talk right now, so it's perfect time to do another sports bite. Quarterback situations. You know that the Jets, they're not going to bring back Aaron Rodgers, and the Giants, they lost Daniel Jones, and they didn't have a real replacement. So the question is, what are those two New York teams going to do about a quarterback? Some people are speculating that Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward are going to be the first two quarterbacks off the board. That's still possible. But then there's questions to that. And the questions are, what kind of quarterback do you want? As I said last week, that when Jalen Hurts won that Super Bowl, that kind of changed the dynamics for what teams are looking for in a quarterback. And the running quarterback is in vogue right now. I don't know what that means. The running back is in vogue, right? Running quarterback is in vogue right now. It was said before that that type of quarterback could not win the Super Bowl. Now that he has broken through, and you have seen, oh, you're saluting. How you doing, Mr. Bear? I guess that's what you're trying to say. Cal Game says hi. Okay. I don't know what bears. I'm not big on the emoji stuff, so I don't know what you're talking about. But what I'm saying is that Jalen Hurts has opened the door for a lot of teams to try to go after running quarterbacks. And I think the Jets and the Giants are going to take that into consideration when the draft and the free agency comes up. Cam Ward is probably at the top of that list because he has far more escapability than Shedeur Sanders. Accuracy, probably takes Sanders. But being able to be accurate and escape the pocket, Ward has that advantage. Then you have guys like Jackson Dart. He shot up the board during senior week, during the Senior Bowl. But the question is, does he have enough mobility to be somebody that can escape the pocket like a Cam Ward? I've seen Dart take off a few times, but that's really not his game. But if the style of play is going to now dictate that a quarterback runs more often, then I think Dart has enough speed that he can escape and get your first down into every now and then. All right. Cal Game said, I think the Titans should draft a different quarterback. Well, Rodney Harrison kind of shook the bag up a little bit the other day. He said that now that Rodgers is going out of New York, the Jets and the Giants may want to look at going to a quarterback that's already in the league. And they're talking about Hendon Hooker, the ex-Tennessee quarterback. If you recall, Hooker, he was a Heisman candidate before he got hurt, and that dropped him down the board. He ended up going in the third round to Detroit, and he sat out pretty much all of his rookie year trying to recover from that injury he got in his last year at Tennessee. So now he comes in this year, gets a little mop-up action, and he may have an opportunity to get traded to New York and become a player there. And if not New York, like Cal Games say, he might end up in Tennessee. So there's a lot of questions that need to be asked, and it's all going to depend on how these teams handle free agency. Um, that's coming up next month, and then you can get an idea about what these teams are going to do based on how they do their free agency period. But Aaron Rodgers, the question I had, do you think this guy should retire? Nowadays, quarterbacks, you don't really touch them a whole lot, and it's a good possibility that he's going to come back. Knowing him, I seen that 3-part series he had. I think it was on Netflix. He goes to Central America. I can't remember the country right now, where he does these retreats, and who knows what he might come up with. But the thing is, he does have talent that teams can use. If not as a starter anymore, he could come off the bench. Even though he's 41 now, he spent his first 3 or 4 years on the bench behind Brett Favre. So in playing years, with the injuries he's had, he's real time, maybe 35 years old. So he still has another year or two in him that he can play some football. But I don't think that he's going to, if he does come back, I don't think he's going to play maybe a year more. I think he doesn't want to go out the way that they went out in New York and would like to come back to try to end it on a better note. But as far as playing long term, year, maybe 2 at the most, but I don't see it beyond that. So if I'm a team that's looking at for a quarterback on free agency, I would bring in Aaron Rodgers as a backup because I know he can produce in brief periods of time, if not long periods of time. So that'd be something that you might want to keep an eye on. YT Dom 7. Okay, YT Dom 7. I want Cameron Hayward to join Houston. Well, Cam Hayward, that's the guy from the Saints, right? I didn't know he was a free agent, but I don't see him leaving New Orleans because this guy, Kellen Moore, he has the potential to turn that Saints team around. And I know a lot of you guys think that these teams are real bad in the NFL. Well, they're not. It's not on. It's maybe you can pick up a rock and throw it 2 or 3 steps, and that's about how far it is between the best team in the NFL and the worst team. And even though the Eagles are everybody's hot topic right now, people are going to adjust to what they did, and they're gonna be able to compete better with Philadelphia next year. But the thing about Philadelphia is that tush push. I don't think that they are going to allow that to come back in its form that way it is now. Yeah, you can still run a quarterback sneak, but I think they're going to take the part where you push him in the back away because it doesn't look like any other playing football, and the defensive players are at a complete disadvantage. There's really no way that you can stop that play, and because of that one-sided advantage, they're going to get rid of it. But on the other side of that, if they do keep it, then I think you ought to let defensives play football the way they used to play and put some hits on these offensive players, and that'll level some of that crap out. But like I told you guys before, that tush push of Philadelphia, somebody's going to grab that quarterback by the neck under the power one day, and that's going to be the end of that, man. Well, guys like Perry could stop it, but the thing is, the key to it is jumping the snap count. And when you go to jumping the snap count, that's when you get those offside penalties. You get too many, the referee could award you the first down or a score. And that's no good. You know, if the guy's going to get a touchdown, make him earn it. And it just, the way it's set up now, there's just no way that you can stop it, man. But they got big players like Perry, even though Perry is long gone. But if he was in the league, he probably could plug up some holes, just like that guy from Green Bay a few years back. There's always some gigantic player in the league that they can stick in the middle to cause a disruption, and it'd take a whole lot to get them moved. But still, the offense has the advantage there because they can dictate things with the snap count and make you jump off sides. So I think the push is going to be there, but it's going to change a little bit. No, yeah, too tall. He's too tall. He was a defensive end. He's not getting into the middle with those big guys like that. You want to come off the quarterback and beat up on the quarterback coming off that end. Chris Bristol, how you doing, man? I ain't seen you in a while. Not going to be on long. I just came to talk about these quarterbacks. Um, see what you had to say about Rodney Harrison. He said that Hendon Hooker should end up in New York as opposed to a Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders because he's got all the tools. He's been in the league a little longer, and he does have that escapability. He's got the prototypical size, and he's a pretty smart kid. But the question is, can he stay healthy? That's the same thing that you should ask any quarterback. Going back to Whitey Dom 7, you said that the Steelers need a new quarterback. Yeah, they do. But if you saw the post the other day, the Rams are going to trade Cooper Kupp, and it's also a possibility that he could trade Matthew Stafford. If they trade Stafford, Pittsburgh could be a destination that he goes. The talk is either Pittsburgh or the Giants. I don't think Stafford will want to go to the Giants because Pittsburgh is much farther along. And because Pittsburgh is farther along, with his arm and the way that Pittsburgh traditionally plays, run the football, play action, that kind of thing, that's up Stafford's alley. So he would be a better fit more so than what Russell Wilson was. It's just that Russell Wilson, he's getting a little aged and he wasn't as good as the Russell Wilson I knew in Seattle. That was kind of hard to stop. And I don't know how much long Wilson is going to play, but he still can be effective. But the question is, what style of play will the Steelers adopt? As I said before, Jalen Hurts made it popular now for running quarterbacks to come in and change things up. And they already got a quarterback with Justin Fields. So is this the time for Justin Fields to get on the field and see if he could turn that franchise around? Pittsburgh, they made progress this year, and then they went backwards. In the end, they lost their last 5 games. And if you're a playoff team, you shouldn't be backing into the playoffs and losing the way that Pittsburgh did. Bigger than the quarterback position at Pittsburgh, their problem is they got to find the way to slow down teams like Baltimore because you got a running quarterback there and you got a Derrick Henry. Seems like he's got the fountain of youth over there, and he's running the football like he's in his mid-20s. And as long as that continues, Pittsburgh is going to have a problem. They can beat Baltimore as constructed, but they're going to need a few more pieces to solidify their game plan when they go against teams like Baltimore. And not necessarily for them, they also still have to compete with the Chiefs and the Bills. So it's still up in the air. But Philadelphia, they're the champions right now. Everybody's already saying because of the way they played, they're going to be back next year. I don't think so. Sirianni, he's kind of young, and he makes a lot of dumb calls. Just so happened they played well enough to overcome his dumb calls over the year. But he's kind of like the dude in Detroit. He tried to prove how tough they are too many times, and that has cost Detroit 2 years in a row. So if you're going to be a consistent, you have to come up with a level of play that keeps your teams in the game all the time. And you can't ruin it by trying to prove something when it's not necessary that you have to prove it. Detroit should have went to the Super Bowl last year, but no. You got to keep going for it on 4th down. And when you don't make it on 4th down, those things change the game, man. It's not like Kansas City getting all those close calls go their way because you can't tell me that Josh Allen didn't get that quarterback sneak. They say one guy said he had the first down, the other guy said no. Then they go to replay, and all of a sudden New York gets involved, and it goes the other way. So you figure that one out for yourself. But at the time, Buffalo had all the momentum going, and had they got that first down, they would have took 3 or 4 more minutes off that clock, and they would have scored. That would have broke Kansas City's back. But that's just the way it goes sometimes. You got to play and overcome whatever mistakes that whatever's thrown your way, you got to overcome it. And the Bills, they just can't seem to get over the hump. But I think that Pittsburgh, with a Stafford, that would make a big difference offensively, and they need to focus on free agency on the defensive side, and they will improve dramatically. So it's going to be a different year, and that's what makes it exciting to talk about because there's so many possibilities, and we won't know until we know. So But yes, Aaron Rodgers, he's not coming back. Aaron Glenn, the good thing is though he has knowledge of Hendon Hooker, so it's very possible that he might, knowing that he shipped Rodgers out, that he was going to bring in Hendon Hooker all the time. He's got connections in Detroit where he can just call him up and see if he can make a deal. And I'm kind of with Rodney Harrison. I had never thought about it, but I do think that Hooker, if he stays healthy, is a good quarterback. Now, one thing that troubles me about Hooker, the last two times they played against Georgia, he played great running that fast offense, but when he played against Georgia, it seemed like he just froze up. And some of those receivers he had open, he wasn't hitting them. He was making more mistakes against Georgia. Now, credit Georgia some of that. But if I'm playing pitch and catch in pregame with a receiver with no pressure on me, that same receiver is wide open in the game. I don't care if somebody is rushing me. I should be able to hit that receiver. He wasn't doing that. So you can't give Georgia credit for something like that. He just didn't make the plays. So the question is, can Hooker really handle the pressure? And he didn't show me that he can do that in big games at Tennessee. And then he got hurt. Now he so far has been hurt in Detroit. And they also said that when they brought in Teddy Bridgewater, he moved him up over Hooker. So Detroit may not be that impressed with him. And it would be easier for a team like the Jets to come in and get him because they don't think much of him, Hooker, in the first place. But I think Hooker is a better player than most people think. But the question is, can he handle the pressure when he absolutely has to? And he hasn't shown me he can do that yet. So that's just my take on that. But either way, both those teams, they're going to be back. Rodgers, he's going to end up somewhere as a backup somewhere. That quarterback's going to get hurt, and he's going to trot on the field as a starter. He's going to win some games, get to the playoffs, and he's going to trot off after that. He doesn't have very much longer. But if you still can throw the ball and you're still healthy enough to play, why not play? Especially with all the money they're throwing around in pro sports these days. So look for Aaron Rodgers to stay around a while. But I'm with Rodney Harrison. I think Hendon Hooker would be a good fit in New York. And I expect the effect of Jalen Hurts. You're going to have more running quarterbacks keep coming into the league. That kind of opened the door up for a Justin Fields. It also opened the door for a comeback for a guy like Jalen Milroe, even though I still think he should have stayed in college another year. And Jackson Dart is going to have to get more mobile. He can throw the football. He can play. But the traditional drop back quarterback is pretty much dead now until the next cycle where some team comes up with a old style of play where they have a drop back quarterback and they tear through the league and win the championship. Then the drop back quarterback will come back in vogue. But as of now, in the foreseeable future is going to be the running quarterback. And that's all because of Jalen Hurts. So we'll see how it goes. But Cam Ward, he's pretty much assured to go in the first round now. Shedeur Sanders not as mobile. He may go late, but I don't know where he's going to end up. But I think Cam Ward's probably go off the board before Sanders. And look out for more running quarterbacks. All right, today, this afternoon, I got a heavier topic I want to talk about. I would like to get into it now. I don't have time to get into it on my normal AM sports bikes. I'll be on at 6:30 in the mornings. School's closed, so I'm off my normal time schedule today. That's why I'm coming on so late. But in the morning, I'd like to get on a little earlier, see if I can cover this topic in about 30 minutes. Something you might want to talk about. What can these athletes do? And a lot of stuff going against these guys, and how do you protect yourself is my question. And we'll talk about that a little this afternoon and in the morning. But until then, got a little running around to do. Catch you guys later. Hope you guys like and subscribe and share me around a little bit, man. And I'll see you guys later on this afternoon. So until then, this has been Sports for Real. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. I'm out. Oh, let me check this poll first. We got 5 votes, and most of you say that he should retire. I agree, but I don't see him going nowhere. All right, have a good day.